Joined now by the co-owner and general manager of the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks, John Webb, who get their season started this evening on the floor behind me here at the Cobourg Recreation Complex against the Oakville Rock. John, I think many would look at this match and think it's a tough test for you. They've got a lot of NLL presence. You've got a lot of guys who have been drafted but haven't quite got there yet. Maybe some of their guys are in tonight, maybe not. How do you look at this match in terms of setting you up for this season?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this matchup tonight. We do have a young squad, but we've had a month-long training camp, and the guys have been working and gelling together. These guys are young and hungry, and I think it's going to be a great test for them tonight.
I talked to a few general managers over the last few years, and one of them a couple years ago told me their job happens when the game's not happening. So you've done your job now. It's up to the boys. Talk to me about your job in the off season.
Yeah, well, it really started as soon as the season ended for us. Recruiting and looking at potential draft picks, as well as trying to put a few pieces in to fill out our offense is what we were really looking at. Our defense was pretty strong last year, but it had to be relied on too much because our offense was a little weaker. So we've bolstered that up this year. We've brought in some good young players, as well as a few veterans like Dan Keene on the right side. On the left side, we've got young guys like Logan Holmes and Andy Campbell that are ready to step in and play.
And what I like about this are our local guys, and the guys that are on this squad are, despite the previous records of this team, either in KW or here, are excited to play. One of those guys, Kevin Orleman on Twitter, he was real pumped for tonight's game, and I think the fans are real jacked for this one too.
Yeah, the support's been amazing with our fans. We averaged almost 1,000 people a game last year, and we expect a great crowd here tonight. And once we win tonight, then we can only expect our attendance to go up.
The building behind me here does seat 2,400. That place was rammed, but this time last week, I think, for the RBC Cup. Those folks will be honored here this evening as well. Talk to me a little bit about part of your job as well is approaching local businesses, and they've really stepped forward this year. Obviously, Nissan being the major sponsor of the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks, but just your thoughts on some of the other businesses that have come forward.
Well, it's been really, really productive that way. The local businesses have stepped up in a big way. They recognize that it's a great way to advertise their business. When you're getting 1,000 people and a captive audience each game, Cobourg Nissan really stepped forward first, and that legitimized it to other businesses that it was a great advertising opportunity, as well as another great way to sponsor a local sports team.
So let's look ahead to this season now. Obviously improving on the base that was built last year. This is the second season here in Cobourg. Again, I keep coming back to it. The record last season, many may think this is going to be a rough season for this squad, but like you said, there's been some changes. What would constitute a successful year for you in terms of year two for this franchise?
Well, this year our expectations is the playoffs. We're not going to accept anything less. Last year we really said from the very beginning, wins and losses didn't matter. We needed to build a brand and build a fan base, because without those fan support and business support, we didn't have a team. So we have that. And the fans were really patient with us, and we're going to reward them this year.
You talked a bit about some of the players. Just give me one name, we'll close off on this, who we can look forward to tonight and going into this season, one guy you're really excited about.
Luke Laskowitz. He made the jump to the NLL this year, got in a few games with Rochester, and I expect him to have a great big year for us as well.
So we'll be looking forward to Luke and the rest of the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks. John Webb, the co-owner and general manager, thanks for your time and good luck this season.
Thanks, Gary.
Kodiaks Lacrosse is brought to you by Cobourg Nissan. Nissan built for the human race. And with their promotions and recognition, your go-to company for custom promotional apparel and promotional products. And on the power play, it's Cobourg Auto Collision. Our repairs are guaranteed with a lifetime warranty. The penalty kill sponsor is Ontario Lawn Clearing and Tree Expert, professional arborist and lawn clearing servicing the GTA. Sports HQ magazine for everything you want to know about your Kodiaks and more. Trust Sports HQ. Before or after the game, you're among friends at Boston Pizza, the official pizza of the Cobourg Kodiaks.
We are inside the Cobourg Community Center. Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks home opener, the opener of the Major Series lacrosse season. Let's put a cap on the hockey year first, as the Cobourg Cougars are on the floor for opening ceremonies. The winners of the RBC Cup 7 days ago, almost to the minute that they won that trophy. It was a 4 o'clock start. It's going to be a 6 o'clock start here in Cobourg tonight. 9 graduates on this Cobourg's team, including goaltender Stefano Durante, defenders Nick Minerva, Jesse Baird, Cam McGill, and Brendan Roy, and forward Spencer Roberts, Quinn Ciridiak, and Theo Lewis. And Josh McGuire from right here in Cobourg actually gave up his final season playing for the Peterborough Petes in OHL to come back to the Cougars to play for a national championship and now win a national championship. They were honored in the lobby before the game in a ceremony that included the OJHL Commissioner Marty Savoy and other dignitaries. And the opening face-off is out of the way. One thing left to do is play some lacrosse. Congratulations to the Cobourg Cougars, but our focus now shifts to Major Series Lacrosse and the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks and the Oakville Rock. Just about set to go between the Oakville Rock and the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks. Oakville head coach Matt Sawyer and starting goaltender Nick Rose. They're wearing their white uniforms, working right to left. Dark uniforms, white letters going right to left, pardon me, left to right for Oakville, right to left for the Kodiaks. Working away from Rance Vigneault and their head coach Jamie Dubrick. Scrambled opening draw, and quickly hard after it, Riley Campbell going after his man. A big collision in behind the net of Vigneault. And now looks like the Kodiaks will have the opening possession. Pete Rennie quickly down the floor into the corner, where he's going to leave for Cole McWilliams. Trailing the play, Drake Smith. Luke Laskowicz now to the far side. Luke Laskowicz, one of those young up-and-coming players, his first NLL season out of the way. And NLL goaltender, probably up for goaltender of the year, Nick Rose. Makes the save and sends it quickly to the front door where Brett Hickey accepts the pass. Missed most of last year's MSL season due to injury, but he'll be a big addition to the Oakville Rock lineup. A different look for the Rock here tonight, as some of the Toronto regulars and the NLL regulars not in the lineup this evening. A number of additions that we'll try and get to as the situations arise. On the far side, they go up top now to Brandon Slade. Slade pushes it in the corner. Now it finds its way back up top again. I believe this is Andrew Mullen. Down the far side. Actually, Wesley Berg, pardon me, big righty from that shooting spot. We're making his return to the Oakville lineup this year. Colton Armstrong crosses center, puts the brakes on, back for Drake Smith, now quickly into the corner. Behind the back pass, looking for a cutting Dylan Goddard there. He was on his wrong side though, so Matt Croak gets it back. Goddard circling the net, still with it, takes a big chop. Now forced out wide by Latrell Harris. Stud 18-year-old rookie for the Toronto Rock. Nifty shot through the legs there by John St. John. Gets through and finds its way to Nick Rose, who makes the save. Vigneault now has to collapse over top of the shot from Joe French. He saw a lot of floor time last year for Oakville as well. Here comes Croak on the near side. Matt Croak, the young Peterborough player. Quickly into the corner, far side. Pick and roll doesn't work, and Mitch DeSnew, the Whitby graduate, will find Matty Lee out the front door. Matthew Lee, graduating out of junior from the Mimico Mountaineers last year, as they go up top to Brandon Slade once more. Down in the corner, here is DeSnew, staying up on offense. He's just pushed up ahead. Forced out wide, and still contact there with Derek Searle. It's played back near side. Now Cole McWilliams as they work over center. McWilliams for Croak. To the far side, Dylan Goddard winding up. That's the shot he scored a number of goals in Junior B in Clarington, just to the west of Cobourg. As John St. John over the top. Goes behind his back in the corner. John St. John played with Drake Smith's older brother. We've got a call here back in in Kitchener-Waterloo, of course, where the Kodiaks did originate from, and then moving to Cobourg to become the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks last season. Ball down here, unable to pick up was Dan McCray. And McCray's going to take off running as the ball bounces to Damon Edwards. Edwards has a trailer. I believe that's Hickey who shoots wide off the backboards. It bounces up, screaming for it. Up the floor was Croak, and it's not going to quite roll far enough for him to pick up as Holden Garland, got in the way. Joe French back on the floor now. He's going to send it up top. Down towards the half boards, looking for Todd Kozak. Kozak racing in for it, part of a trade last season from Brampton. Has a big hit in the back there. Colton Armstrong into his man. And Blair Ferguson will call interference. Him and Andrew Ecclestone, the two officials tonight. Understand Fergie working double duty as he officiated the West Durham game in Ajax earlier on this evening. Earlier this afternoon, I should say. Wesley Berg tried to work over the top. I believe there was a moving screen called in there, and the outlet pass looking for Cole McWilliams. They're unable to connect, and Latrell Harris scooted away from him, so Oakville has a chance to head back to their bench. Played back here for Slade. Slade for Connor Fields, the young stud American. Connor Fields, real excited to watch him at this level here in this game. That's his first touch. And it was a pass for Slade, who ended up crashing into Vigneault. No excess there, so we go back the other way. 5 minutes gone in this first 20-minute period. First of 3 that we will play here today, as John St. John takes a low shot. Goes in to find Nick Rose. Filled in on the pass there. They do get it to John St. John. He falls, and it was too high for Drake Smith. They're trying to release Latrell Harris, and flying out of the bench was Pat McRory to get in Harris's way. Trailing the play, here's Todd Kozak. Takes the shot, and he'll score. And I believe Latrell Harris is going to pick up the assist on that. Weird floor configuration here as the benches are on the far side, and twice on that play it caused problems as Todd Kozak comes off the bench and no one picks him up off the opposite side except for Latrell Harris. And it finds its way through Vigneault for a 1-0 score. Big tie-up off the draw here between Matthew Lee and it looks like Brody Burkhoff. Lee won't back down from that, and we all know Brody Burkhoff won't. So we'll see if those two continue their battle the rest of the evening. Here's Hickey on the far side. Stumbled a little bit there as Pete Rennie was in his face. It's now played back to the near side. Connor Fields dancing around. Forced into the corner. He'll back out and go for Lee now. Connor Fields into the corner. Oh, what a pass to lead Hickey. And then Slade dropped from behind. So Hickey, on his way to the bench, will return to the floor as they'll get a reset here with Slade out of the corner. Hickey, far side. Fields over the top now. Connor Fields works around to pick from Slade. Real slick surface tonight, it looks like, as Matthew Lee gets filled in. Lee flipping to Berg. He had to chase it back to the wall, and we're going to get a holding penalty here as Berg couldn't come away with the shot. And we'll see who it is. It's definitely going to the Kodiaks. So Oakville to the power play. As Pete Rennie takes a seat for the hold. 1-0 score off the goal from Todd Kozak. 13.5 left to play here. Our first power play of the game goes Oakville's way up top for Hickey. He was looking to go around the back there for Berg, out of his reach. Hickey's still with it though. Connor Fields looks into the corner. Looked like there was a shot available. Fields electing to pass. Back for Berg into the corner. Finding Fields. He had to chase it down. Works around to pick. Quickly back. Oh, quick stick there for Joe French. It's his quick ball movement here as Joe French is going to come away with the ball. We've seen a few good passes from Fields early on in this game. And there's another good one to French, who puts it in behind Fields, as we've just about played 7 minutes here in the opening period. Brody Burkhoff winning the faceoff, working hard into the corner. Again, a lot of pushing and shoving. Burkhoff hard into the chest of his mark, I believe was Brandon Slade. Pardon me, James Barclay. Here's Matthew Lee working in all by himself, and then extra in on Vigneault. Second time in the game, they've got a little tight to Vigneault. Blair Ferguson right there to make sure nothing else comes of that as we go down the floor. There's Drake Smith. Croak racing in, found Logan Holmes cutting through. Couldn't get a shot away, so it comes back for Laskowicz. 10 on the shot clock, Laskowicz outside, looking at Drake Smith on the crease, and through the crease is going to be the call from Andrew Ecclestone. So now the Rock getting an offensive possession. Mitch DeSnoo starting it up quickly for French. Into the corner now, a couple big whacks on the stick of Wesley Berg for Slade into the corner. Slade gets dragged down there with Colton Armstrong as the two of them got tangled up. Now he's pushed all the way up top. Todd Kozak is going to go to Slade. Over to the far side, Berg now. Big rip coming here and then dropped. Looked like from behind by Joe French, and we'll get an interference call from Ecclestone up top. One power play goal already in the game now, as we're about a minute and a half away from the halfway mark of the period. Oakville leading 2-0 as Joe French scored on the most recent power play. And now Armstrong takes a seat. Oakville back man up. Wesley Berg starting with it up top, back for Hickey. Down in the corner, Hickey. Cross thread to Connor Fields. Up top, Berg, Hickey, and Berg playing catch with it now, back for Fields. All up top so far on this set, as Berg has it back for Fields. And now down low, and not ready for that was Todd Kozak. So it bounces off his stick, lands in the crease of Vigneault. Up for Drake Smith. The quick change off both benches here now, as especially Oakville getting used to that funky floor configuration. See this up in Peterborough as well, as the benches on the opposite sides at the Peterborough Memorial Center. Here's James Barclay pushing it into the corner. Another Mimico graduate. I believe he's still playing junior actually in Mimico. Leg one of the Crombie Cup available on our YouTube channel as Connor Fields takes that shot. Vigneault with the save. I'm going to say no shot as the shot clock's down to 5. That one definitely finds the mark from Hickey. Looking for Fields again. Intercepted and trying to take off was Pete Rennie. He's going to hang out up top now as Vigneault makes the save and now sneaks away. What a pick up there from Rennie off the pass. Berg chasing, and Nick Rose coming away with the save. Damon Edwards unable to pick up. Quickly down the floor, recovered by Hickey though, as Connor Fields will now slow down. Halfway mark of the first, 20 seconds left in the Rock power play. Fields with it. That's his first attempt at goal, and Vigneault nicely to his left makes the save in the chest. Shot clock off. Final 8 seconds here of the penalty is Udding. We'll put it deep into the corner for Matt Croak. And we'll go back to even strength as John St. John takes over for the penalized player with 9:30 left to go. Cobourg still looking for their first goal, and there it is. They find it from John St. John. And Matt Croak They get 2-1 now with 9:24 left in period number 1. John St. John off the bench. Second goal scored off the bench here in this game. Todd Kozak earlier. So these benches definitely going to come into play as there's a big slip off the faceoff. Matthew Lee picked out of the way by Burkhoff. Those two definitely with something going on in this game in the early stages of this game. Here's Dan McRae over to the outside wall. Up over the top, Brandon Slade. Slade back for Berg. Didn't get all he wanted on the shot, but it's over top, and that delay may have fooled Vigneault as Berg gets one back. I believe that's only about 27 seconds. Defender right in his face. And that shot hit something on the way before finding its way through Vigneault. A bit fooled there. Looked like he was off to his left low and the shot went high. Looked like Pat McRory or maybe Doug Utting on the faceoff. And James Barclay for Oakville that time. So both coaches switching things up at the dot. As Joe French takes the Barclay win. French wheeling around into the corner. Laying it back up top for Mitch DeSnew. Back far side, the bounce pass doesn't work to Berg. And bouncing in on Vigneault, he wasn't sure where it was. It didn't end up in the stick, so they'll just hold on for the whistle. Back for Logan Holmes. Smith into the corner. Laskowicz up top. St. John and Dylan Goddard. Dan McRae gives chase after Goddard. Goddard still with it. Ends up losing it before the hit from DeSnew. And DeSnew hustling to the bench. And they're going to say Hickey jumped early. Laskowicz with it now for the Kodiaks. Luke Laskowicz backing his way away from the fan. Now gets back into shooting position. Two Kodiaks following the shot, looking for a rebound. None available from Nick Rose as he immediately goes up the floor. Hickey running underneath. Matthew Lee off the bench now, back for Hickey. As Joe French and Connor Fields round out the 5. Here's Todd Kozak, 7.5 left in period number 1. 3-1 Oakville so far. Corner for Fields. Bit of a stumble just outside the crease. Looking for French, who couldn't get a stick on the quick stick opportunity. Out of the corner, Kodiak's working right to left now. Here's Laskowicz. Working out of the corner, John St. John. Onto the half wall, trying to find St. John again in tight, and he couldn't come up with it, so it's going to be intercepted. And here's Mitch DeSnew running down. DeSnew looking pass, now takes the shot. As Vigneault went down, that shot went wide, skipping off the backboards, all the way right to the Oakville bench. So they're going to take the opportunity to make a change. Westberg on the floor with it. One hand cradle, and the pass attempt looking for Slade way high and ends up in the Cobourg bench. Old McWilliams and Goddard to the far side. I believe they were looking there for Andrew Campbell. It came back for Drake Smith. Here's McWilliams on the shot. Drops in front of Nick Rose. Loose ball played for here. Big collision in on the glass. James Barclay taken out of the play, but his teammates will recover. Holding Garland. Finding Hickey. Now French off the bench. Under 6 to play, period number 1. Still a 2-goal lead for Oakville. Big shot from Hickey. That hits a Kodiak player in front and went up out of play. Everyone looking for it. It's brought out of the corner by Fields. To French now. His quick shot goes wide, and this one's going to sail up over the glass and into the crowd.
Brody Burkhoff, Drake Smith as they file off the bench. Over the top now, Laskowicz to the far side. This is St. John dancing around, trying to get past the pick. Around the back for Laskowicz, spinning attempt for Drake Smith, and Rosie comes up with another save. We were told number 8 was Brandon Slade, as well as 15 marked as Brandon Slade. We were told they were both playing, so we will have to check on those two numbers. Will the real Brandon Slade please stand up? Here goes a big rip from Todd Kozak. It did go wide, ended up in the back of in behind the net, I guess I should say. That's played by Jamie McMahon. Cobourg will come back for it. Under 5 to play now. Laskowicz working in, past the initial pick. Latrell Harris there on the slide. Goddard to the far side. John St. John shrugs off the check. Then his shot goes wide. Latrell Harris with a chance to run now. Looking off the bench, trying to catch up Colton Armstrong. The shot from Harris, that one sails wide off the backboards and bounces all the way out past center where James Barclay corrals it. And now the change is on here for Oakville. French for Hickey. It drops down in front of Connor Fields where he's going to run into it. Arm gets up on the shoulder, no call. As Fields now giving chase. Rance Vigneault out to play a pick. Connor Fields still chasing his man. As staying on the floor, Todd Kozak looking to throw a pick. And it's going to be Brody Burkhoff running into it. Burkhoff giving way for Dylan Goddard. Out to the far side. McWilliams. Big rip from Goddard, the Clarington spot for Goddard, and that one hit off a body in front. Picked up by Oakville. As this is Fields now. Far side, Wesley Berg. Berg with it back the near side. As the Rock dance around now. Here's Fields, a bounce shot. Goes up off the back glass. Straight to Joe French though. Nearing 3 minutes left in the opening period. Oh, what a save from Vigneault, but a crease violation against the shooter as it comes down for Laskowicz. Here's Luke Laskowicz. Latrell Harris on him. Laskowicz fakes the shot, gets around Harris one step. Nice recovery though. Harris returning to the St. Catharines Athletics this year. Oh, clothesline in the corner, but the ball goes in the net. And James Barclay taking one to find Holden Garland there. That was a rough play there. The clothesline as Barclay comes around the corner, stands in. He's got Garland coming with him, and there's the shot. And it's in behind Vigneault. Barclay gets up, and they throw that ball out of play. Holden Garland's first major series goal for number 88 for Oakville. 2.5 left. Looks like some of the Northumberland minor lacrosse players getting ready to take the floor here at the intermission break. Personally, for me, the last time I was in this building, as here comes Matthew Lee working down the shot. Vigneault making the save. They were just getting their minor system started here in Northumberland. The Northumberland Nemesis with their logo at center floor here. And it has grown in leaps and bounds over the last about 4 or 5 years. Working around the pick of John St. John is Dylan Goddard. Back for Laskowicz. Another pick in front of Laskowicz there for McWilliams. Laskowicz with it now, takes a shot. It's wide at the end of the shot clock. And it'll be picked up by Oakville and across center floor. Big scramble for that ball. End up working out for it. Todd Kozak, he doesn't like the through the crease call, but it was made there by Andrew Ecclestone. Final 90 seconds of the opening period. Played for John St. John. Into the near corner. Here's Croak. Croak will send a bouncer over to the far side. I believe that's Logan Holmes with a bright orange head on his stick. Comes back here for Croak. Cross check there. That knocks the ball free, and Ryan Wagner able to recover to bring it up the floor. Nearing the final minute, Ron Messer will make the announcement as Brett Hickey steps on and will immediately give to Connor Fields. And go to the net and take the shot off the face mask, it sounded like, of Rance Vigneault, who goes down to make the save. Quickly up the floor for Laskowicz. Laskowicz has Goddard with him. McWilliams trailing. Laskowicz taking it himself. Damon Edwards keeps him at bay. And John St. John on his wrong side, switching hands actually. And we're going to get a slashing penalty to Mitch DeSnew as Vigneault scampers to the bench. 5 left on the clock as the shot will stop play. And DeSnew, as we said, heading off now for slashing. So a chance to cut the lead in half here at the end of the period, 28.1. Remaining here, it's a 4-1 lead for Oakville. Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks getting set up again. Holmes in the corner. St. John, Croak over his shoulder, Laskowicz. Drake Smith, only one that hasn't touched it now on the near corner. St. John, Croak, Laskowicz with a pick. Now Smith does touch it. Back for St. John. And Laskowicz and Croak up top. Shot, trying to split the defenders, actually shot it into the pocket of Latrell Harris. Gets the shot away before time expires. And it rolls away from Vigneault, or he may have had a second opportunity. Good opening 20 minutes for Oakville. But they'll go to the rooms and we'll see if the Nissan Kodiaks can recover. You're watching Major Series Lacrosse action on the JVI Sports Network. The Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks will start period number 2 on the power play, working left to right here in period number 2. As the Oakville Rock will obviously go right to left and start one man down. Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network coverage of Major Series Lacrosse here in Cobourg. As it's picked up by Laskowicz, shot clock down to 15 as they get set up now, as John St. John working up top where Matt Croak is, down in the corner. Holding Garland and St. John. John St. John trying to pass through. I believe Latrell Harris may have caught a piece of that as Garland retreats into the corner. Takes a big check there as it's dropped down by Croak. And Damon Edwards will pick it up. Playing over for Wesley Berg. Todd Kozak now on the rag team as the shot clock turns off for the final 40 seconds of this power play. Slade works out of what was a triple team onto the crease. Kozak dancing around. Slade gets filled in the corner. Right at the entrance where the Nissan Titan circled the floor with Cody the Kodiak and a bunch of youngsters in the back. Is Hickey now on the near side, checks the clock, 10 seconds left in the penalty. As he gets pushed outside, they go back for Joe French. Looking far side, the bouncer returns for French as DeSnew comes out of the penalty box. He'll join the fray as the shot clock starts to run now. Minute and a half gone in the period. Picked up by Dylan Hutchinson, and early movement now off the Cobourg bench. Gives the ball back to Oakville here. Picked up by Damon Edwards. as he's going to go across center to the far side. Matthew Lee with it, a bit of a stutter step on his way to the net. The shot to the stick side there of Vigneault, and now they go back far side as Kozak got filled in just as he took the shot, and he's going to end up with his second of the game. From Fields and Lee, it looks like it's going to be as Kozak to the middle. A couple times now that Oakville players have took big hits and ended up with a goal. Lee first and then Kozak, but it ends up in behind Vigneault. They catch him going side to side as we've played 2 minutes here, and already Oakville extends their lead by 1. I saw Josh Sanderson in that first period. He said, we'll take that start. Up by 3 after the first. Now early on in the second here, up by 4. And the, let's say 18 months, I guess, that Nick Rose has had have been absolutely stellar. This is a Kodiaks team that is young. They're looking to build this year. It is an Oakville team that is missing a number of regulars from its lineup. Of course, this early on in the season, we're not sure what that regular lineup may in fact look like. As here's Berg. Into the corner, Hickey. Back for Fields. His pass hits something in front before deflecting away from Berg once again, and now Kodiaks will come up over center. Long pass down the floor, front door, and in stride, Logan Holmes. Taking the pass out of the corner. Bunch of guys standing in front of the Kodiaks bench. Kind of surprised that they went the length of the floor on that pass, and they called for the ball from Logan Holmes as this pass works its way all the way down, and the big celly at the end from, I believe that's Andrew Campbell, who accepted the pass in the corner, and Holmes ends up with the goal. His first in major. Face off there from Burkhoff. Went to play with the free hand, but then pulled it back out. As Burkhoff still with it, as the draw team still out there. Burkhoff working over Latrell Harris now trailing the play. Dan McRae flipping now as the offensive unit making the change. Shot over the top, Kozak looking for his hat trick. Now 3.5 minutes in to period number 2. Holmes into the corner. Campbell is now going to go far side. Drake Smith takes a big whack. Pick and roll doesn't work on the return pass as Drake Smith now hard after the ball carrier. And Mitch DeSnew will flip it off. Brandon Slade, we have cleared up, is number 8. 15 is Rob Koger, and 18, Andrew Mullen. Those three were kind of scrambled a little bit on our game sheet before. So we've confirmed with the official score, and that is correct. Up the near side, played into the corner. It skips off the floor, the boards, and then into the stick of Nick Rose. And a long bomb pass now into the corner. That is number 8, Brandon Slade, as we said. Back for Kozak and now French. Matthew Lee stirring up trouble in the middle. As there's Slade and Berg. Now French. Far side, a lot of room for Slade to work with. As now Kozak, the pick and roll, and Kozak was filled in right at the crease. I believe that was Riley Campbell in there with the cross check, and this will give Oakville the ball. Matthew Lee. Ponytail flowing out the back, a hard shot from up top, Joe French, who was also part of the Mimico system once upon a time. This one passed up top. A lot of double blue in this Rock lineup as they go back to James Barclay once again. Slade, far side, Fields. Now Matthew Lee and Brett Hickey. Hickey, the C's part for him, and his shot just misses the mark. Back for Fields over the top. And Laskowicz drops down, and he's going to hang on. If you missed it off the top, a ceremony prior to this game honoring the Cobourg Cougars, the RBC Cup Junior National Hockey Champions. John St. John, Dylan Goddard, two-time winter champions here in Ontario, are Dylan Goddard and John St. John, clinching their second one this past April out in Oshawa. Out of the corner now, here comes Oakville working up the floor. Connor Fields. Big offensive powerhouse down in the NCAA as he works back for Westburg. Still have yet to see any of that here in the OLA. Oh, what a nice play by Vigneault going off to his left to make that save there on Kozak, and he does it on the right now with the stick on Wesley Berg. Oh, two fantastic saves on either side of the net for Rance Vigneault. Riley Campbell will send it up top. Drake Smith. Goddard in the corner. Holmes, now Croak. Let's see if the offense can help out their goaltender who just made two spectacular saves. Down in the end to our left. Croak again in behind the net. Sending it up over to the wrong side. A slip there. And Drake Smith flattens his man right at the shot clock. So it will be Oakville ball. 7 minutes gone in period number 2. Still a 3-goal lead, 5-2 in favor of the Rock. Hickey to Slade. Gets as far as Fields and no further as Pat McCrory pushes him up. Fields fakes the pass, works to the crease, the shot, Vigneault the save. And it's going to be Derek Searle coming in to recover the rebound. Searle bringing it up over center now with Laskowicz. Laskowicz for Campbell. Goddard off the bench and Croak now completing the line change. As this is Cole McWilliams. McWilliams for John St. John. To the far side. Croak the pick and roll. Return pass doesn't come as McWilliams gets flattened there, and Mitch DeSnew will be the beneficiary. DeSnew up over center. Far side Kozak, French off the bench. And Colton Armstrong with a head of steam nearly ran into French as DeSnew works after the ball carrier. French coming in to help as it's finally pushed up floor to Colton Armstrong. That was Jamie McMahon taking the harassment. They look for Drake Smith up top. This one's going to scoot all the way down the floor to Vigneault. Now Smith with 8 seconds on the clock. It's going to be 6 as he crosses center. Drake Smith still with it as Barclay's up top. He's going to let that one hit off his hip and roll into the corner. Pat McRory is going to posture up over top of this ball. Working back for Hickey. Hickey over center, takes a chop, and a pair of 11s do battle. Here's Slade slamming on the brakes. There's just something to be said about the squeak of sneakers on a cement floor. Turf is beautiful, but gotta love that sound. Not sure how much you can hear at home, but it sounds great in the building. You gotta come out to one of these major series games or junior and hear it for yourself. Here's Luke Laskowicz. Bypasses St. John, looking for Goddard now. Goddard sending it back near side. Andrew Campbell ducks the shoulder. Doesn't get very far though as he's tied up, and everyone's just gonna wait as the shot clock was about to expire, and they'll change up. Nearing the halfway mark of regulation. In conversation with co-owner and general manager John Webb before the game, he said the one area that Oakville thought they could improve, we're going to get a moving screen and a no goal there as Berg took the shot, and maybe a bit of leakage here from Is that Pete Rennie who went down? Checking the chin. John Webb said the area they thought the Kodiaks were real strong in coming out of KW last year was their defense and transition. So they tried to make an impact on the offensive side of the ball. Just 2 goals so far past the halfway mark of regulation time. And they get to start their season off facing Nick Rose. Good goaltenders all throughout Major Series, though. So it won't get any easier as John St. John tried to find his man on the far side. It was intercepted there by DeSnew and falls into the stick of McCrae, who's going to work down the floor and reach up to try and take the shot on Vigneault. Dan McCrae, the new head coach of the Burlington Chiefs for his rookie season, him along with Sean Gillies. You can see our conversation with Dan again on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/JVI video production. Be sure to subscribe. You can be notified when all our games throughout the season are loaded. Here's Connor Fields taking the shot. Vigneault goes down low. And of course at JVI video on Twitter. That's where we'll notify you of any upcoming live games and how to access those. Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks, or at Cobourg Kodiaks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well, as the social media team works hard. This shot coming in from Andrew Mullen just rolled away from Vigneault as he got just enough to steer it sideways. Big collision here in along the boards as Bill Saxton tries to posture up. Connor Fields is out there to take a shift on defense. Looks like he's going to head off for a change. As Dylan Hutchison brings it up over center. Joey Capito not in the lineup tonight for Cobourg, but was downstairs actually talking to the defense, setting up some plays. As I guess he's not a carded coach either. Not part of Jamie Dubrick's staff, which includes Mark Croak and Derek Croak this season. But was down in the tunnel speaking to his defense in that intermission break. Spinning away here is French. Gets his own rebound out of the corner. Hickey to Lee on the crease, and Lee's going to score. Some nice moves on both sides, and a bit of a chuckle for Blair Ferguson. And it looks like, is that Maddie's first in Major Series as well? As they've asked for that ball to also be taken out of play. Matt Sawyer with it now. They'll just give it back to the assistant trainer and they'll deal with it later, but 3 career firsts here tonight. As we saw Holden Garland earlier, and then Logan Holmes, and now Matthew Lee.
Oakville goal scored by number 24.
All the first of their senior career. 6-2 now is the lead for Oakville. 6.5 left to play in the second period. Riley Campbell working over his man in the corner, and that's going to earn the Kodiaks a shot clock violation. Pete Rennie did take the floor on that defensive set back after what we believe was a nick previously in the period. Searle a bit late off the floor. That brings Laskowicz into the play. Ball's up top for Goddard, though. Dylan Goddard. Big fake up top from Laskowicz. Thought the shot was going to come. Goes to St. John instead on the crease, and Nick Rose there to make the save. Matt Croak in the face of the ball carrier here, as it is worked up to center for Joe French. French with speed over center. Matthew Lee cuts past the first defender, and it'll be a crease violation as his shot goes wide. Hutchison and French now collide in front of the penalty box. John St. John into the corner for Holmes. The orange head on his stick. He's got one so far tonight. May not happen here though, as John St. John over top of a screen. I believe he was working around Andrew Mullins. And Johnny's got two here as the 5-hole open for Nick Rose, and it goes in. That does cut the lead in half, 6-3, as a couple picks up top. Rob Koger and Andrew Mullen, St. John around those two. The shot, as we said, through the legs of Nick Rose, a sidearm shot that sinks at 5.5 left here in period number 2. Pat McRory. And how dare the Nissan Kodiaks interrupt the in-game host, presenting someone with a gift card for winning the Dab of the Game contest. But here's Croak in the corner. His shot comes through as Nick Rose makes the save. Cobourg Community Center seats 2,400, a decent crowd on hand this Sunday afternoon, as Hickey's now going to work across the opener of the 2017 Major Series Lacrosse season. Connor Fields works to the middle, comes through, takes 3 hits and gets it past Vigneault. And I think we're going to lose another ball here if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we are, as Todd Kozak goes over to ask for it from Blair Ferguson. Boy, oh boy, the trophy case filling up. And then, how about this one? Connor Fields, again, Oakville taking hits to score goals as he gets knocked around 3 times before getting his first. We knew the kid had hands from what he does south of the border, but how about that? And how about the hit there from Damon Edwards in on Colton Armstrong, sending him flying. Oh, Oakville starting to ramp it up right now. As Armstrong back after Edwards, shoves him into the boards. Again, Edwards missed a big chunk of time last year with a knee injury. Not sure if he played any major series, to be honest with you, but did return to the Rock lineup this year. As it's now the Kodiaks with the ball, under 4 minutes left here in the second period. Oakville does lead by 4. Croak trying the all-in-one move, pick up and go around the back. The timing just off as Nick Rose there to pick it up, looking for Dan McRae, the pass behind him from Ryan Wagner. So now Cobourg get an opportunity. McWilliams. Into the middle, Drake Smith back for John St. John. Johnny with 2 already, looking for a hat trick for the Kodiaks. A sidearm shot there around Latrell Harris. Actually making contact, but holding up at the end to avoid the slash. Laskowicz, Drake Smith, John St. John, Dylan Goddard. Nobody down in the corner. So that's where Goddard's going to take it, then tried to cut back and take the shot, and it looked like Holden Garland held him at bay. As now the Rock will come off the bench. Kozak, Slade, Fields, Berg, Hickey setting the pick there. Pick and roll between Berg and Hickey didn't quite work out, as Hickey just overran that a little bit, and that's going to open it up for Pete Rennie. Rennie passing to the corner. Holmes and Croak now. John St. John onto the floor. Rennie heading off as Laskowicz will take his spot. Here's Holmes over the shoulder. What a dandy. Looks like he's been doing it for many years here at the major level. That's only the second goal of the career of Logan Holmes. Second of the season. Watch this finish. Whew. Over the shoulder, beautiful. I've seen kids practice this because it looks cool. That's the only way he can make that shot first, forced way to his wrong side. And that's got to come way over the shoulder. And the angle there, it does look cool when you're goofing around with your buddies, but it takes practice to hit the exact spot. That is beautiful from Logan Holmes, but a defensive breakdown puts Connor Fields all alone in front of Vigneault. And now Slade with an open look, and Vigneault makes the save twice. Contact between Slade and Vigneault. He's getting help recovering his gear as the glove and stick went flying, and Vigneault in the ear hole of Blair Ferguson now. The third time we've seen contact in the Cobourg crease. Stan McRae, high defensive pressure now, takes a big whack at Laskowicz, gets a stare down for his efforts. John St. John filled in as he goes to the crease. And they're going to call that interference after he took the shot. So the ball will come all the way up top here for the Kodiaks. Minute 40 left in the period. Again, finding themselves in a spot where they can close within 2 here in the dying minutes. Kodiaks seem to have momentum right now, but it will be Oakville possession to take us into the final minute. Wesley Berg has French in the middle. Playing it back, Kozak chopping for it. Ends up taking the stick out of the hands there of Derek Searle. Big collision on the far side. Looking for it, Kozak takes the shot, saved by Vigneault. Now Kozak and Armstrong stare each other down, and that is going to be the final minute of the period. Looks like we're going to have another contest coming up at intermission as a couple kids in blindfolds now in the tunnel. Drake Smith overruns the ball. He's got Barclay chasing him down. Barclay and Drake Smith just outside the fan is where they're going to stop. And a quick release shot from John St. John that Nick Rose gobbles up. 30 seconds left. Oakville can't kill the entire thing. There will be about 5 seconds remaining for the Cobourgs. Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks should Oakville take the entire shot clock. Here's Fields in front looking for Joe French. The one-handed shovel shot in. They did get the shot. Vigneault with the save, and he promptly puts it in his own bench. The Oakville bench now screaming timeout with 5.9 on the clock as they lead by 3 headed into the final possession. Hickey over center, 3 on the clock, now 2 as they put it in the corner. Kozak, and French has to put his hands on his head as he was wide open. I think he thought that pass was coming to him, but Vigneault makes the save. 20 minutes left here. Oakville leads 7-4. This is Major Series Lacrosse on the JVI Sports Network. Opening face-off of the third period. 7-4 score in favor of the Oakville Rock as the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks will now work right to left on your screen as they control the opening possession. Laskowicz chases it to the glass. Will now send it far side for John St. John to in the game already as Holden Garland. He got his first career goal earlier as Colton Armstrong again comes flying out that front door. Done that a few times and filled in his man in the first period as action was down on that side. Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network. And Major Series Lacrosse coverage. A reaching shot for Cole McWilliams looking for the far side on Nick Rose. And he actually found the iron there as a bit of a slip from Damon Edwards. Looking far side, a big chop. Owen's going to send the ball actually off the glass in behind the Cobourg's bench. Kodiaks will be up top. Here's Matt Croak. Croak with it now, backing away from pressure. Over to the far side, Dylan Goddard spinning. John St. John trailing the play and looking for the ball after it hit off the back of James Barclay. Barclay's going to pick it up, and 4 Oakville players are going to streak out with him. French and Slade as Cobourg peels off. Slade in front of the crease, and a couple fakes in front of Vigneault, and Slade's going to score. Just an absolute breakout from the defensive side. 4 of them took off running, and it ended up being a 3-on-1, and then 2 as they even the numbers off the bench, but Slade all alone, and Rance Vigneault at his mercy as there's 2 right on the crease. Cobourg picking up the face-off though. Tried to pass it through, and Riley Campbell intercepted. Down the middle and filled in, going down hard, Derek Searle. He now gets up and gives it to Rob Cobourg, leaving a big streak on the floor. Last switch to the far side. Played back for Drake Smith. Smith in front of Cole McWilliams. McWilliams trying to push it to the far side, intercepted by Cobourg, and Cobourg puts the brakes on just before the hit. Looking for Mitch DeSnew. Matthew Lee gets filled in anyways, as now Holmes looked for a second opportunity, but Lee had run through the crease before playing the ball, so it will be possession to Cobourg. They gave the goal to Mitch DeSnew, but I'm pretty sure that was Brandon Slade. This one comes up top. Laskowicz taking the shot. It's down low, in on Nick Rose. Quickly up the floor in the stick of Ryan Wagner. As now Westberg, and now Hickey, a bouncer that gets in behind Rance Vigneault. If you can believe it, the first goal of the game for Brett Hickey. And now 8 different Oakville players, 7 different Oakville players have scored. As it's now 9-4, and it is 17 minutes left in period number 3. I was trying to do the math. 8 had scored. Kozak has 2, and there was only 8 on the board. But now with the 9, it all makes sense. 8 different players scoring. It's got all the makings of a Matt Sawyer team. Saw the quickness and transition of the Toronto Rock. We saw it with those great Orangeville teams. We're going to get a roughing minor here as Matthew Lee went in hard after Derek Searle and actually got a smack in the face for his efforts. So it looks like Searle will go off for roughing here as Vigneault makes the save on the hard shot. Searle was something to say to Blair Ferguson. Only 1 power play goal so far in this game, only 2 goal scorers. Meanwhile, on the side of the Kodiaks, John St. John and Logan Holmes. Connor Fields looking quick stick out of the corner, may have had it as Vigneault looked to be a bit delayed going to his right, but it's intercepted. Rennie is going to feed the trailer, and stepping in the crease was Doug Utting. As those two will have to jog back and play on the defensive side of the ball. That took 30 seconds out of the penalty time. Just over 4 minutes gone here in the third period as Westberg goes over the top, takes the shot in. Vigneault making the save. Connor Fields out to the boards to play for it. Hickey taking a little bit off there, making sure it found its mark. It did, but Vigneault still able to make the save. Flipped up by Rennie. Laskowicz saw an opening, but Westberg there to close it quickly as the shot clock now turns off. 1 minute exactly left in the penalty kill for John St. John and the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks. Holmes sneaking through, and the pass just too high, intercepted by DeSnew. And this is going to open up a chance for Bill Saxton, who works in, as Rance Vigneault makes the save. Big check into the far board. Saxton and Hickey working on the ball carrier. Late in the 10 count, close to the white line, and they won't quite get there. Hickey was arguing, but of course it is 10 and not 8 here in Major Series Lacrosse as opposed to the National Lacrosse League. 25 now left in the power play for Oakville as they'll come set up, putting Hickey up top. And Fields. Joe French. Fields, everything up top so far. Now Slade in the corner, all the way back up to Hickey. Vigneault has to drop to his knees to make the save. Rebound bounces all the way up top. That may have come up and hit him high, as now Vigneault is going to check the mask. Vigneault gets the gear back on, and during the stoppage, Matt Sawyer called over Brett Hickey, Joe French, and Connor Fields to set up a play. It looked like Hickey's going to set the pick, and it opens a shooting lane for Fields. Sidearm rising shot. Had the top corner in his sights, but Vigneault takes it away. Fields over the back. Penalty has expired. As Slade goes over the top to the far side, now looking for Hickey. Hickey with it, one hand. Played back all the way over for Fields. Heavy dose of 11 and 5 now on this offensive set. Shot clock down to 7 as they were looking. Matthew Lee and Brett Hickey were in the vicinity. Hickey into the corner. Comes away with the rebound, but there will be no shot. As the 30-second clock does sound. A restart in the Kodiaks zone with 13:40 left to play in the third. It's a 9-4 lead for Oakville. They've been ahead ever since the word go here, basically, as Luke Laskowicz will put the brakes on up top. Andy Campbell, a shot into the pads of Nick Rose. Conversation coming in was maybe that Steve Fryer would get a start here tonight, as the Oakville Rock will return home this evening and play their home opener tomorrow facing the Peterborough Lakers. So with back-to-back days, you thought maybe they'd split them up, but oh man, Joe French with his second, a hard shot. It is Nick Rose getting the call. He's allowed only 4, and now his teammates give him a 6-goal lead to work with. 13 minutes left. This is a power shot through Rance Vigneault, and Joe French fired up about that as he's got 2 now on the day. I don't think Vigneault is 100% after he took the mask off. He's now gone to get water. Again, Tyler Christopher is the backup. He did see action tonight in the first period. Played goal for the paperweight and peanut mini game, did Tyler Christopher. Here at the Cobourg Community Center, members of the Northumberland Nemesis lacrosse organization taking to the floor at the first intermission. Cole McWilliams over the top to the far side. John St. John Holmes with a big pick. Johnny looking hat trick, and that's just off the shoulder of Nick Rose into the corner. St. John's going to bounce one all the way up top for McWilliams. Played back now for Smith. John St. John, a pick, gets Damon Edwards out of the way, but he quickly recovers and going to head up the floor here as Desnew trying to find him. Desnew turned and gave a whack to Logan Holmes, as those two were quite heavily involved. But they now split as Oakville will head off to the bench. Slade for French. Hickey far side. Here's Hickey. French will set a pick for him. French up top. Over to Fields. Back for Kozak in front. That's a nice recovery by Vigneault as the Rock put that ball all over the offensive side of the floor. Here's Laskowicz. Koger in his face. He can't get a shot away. And he's just going to shove both of them to the floor. Koger and Ryan Wagner. Hard outside shot goes in. Nick Rose making the save. Here's Mick Williams up top. His sidearm shot. Nick Rose has lost the ball at the back of the stick. And it's going to roll for Andy Campbell, but everyone had gone up the floor. John St. John tries the behind the back over the shoulder shot that Holmes scored on earlier, and his just a little off the mark. Vigneault now down to make a save off the Westberg chance as we near the halfway mark of the third period. 6-goal lead here for Oakville in their, obviously their opener. This is the first game of the Major Series Lacrosse season. They lead 10-4 over Kodiaks. Matthew Lee running in, and I think that's another crease violation. And Matt Sawyer going to get in the ear hole there of Matthew Lee. A pat on the back as well for the youngster. His first season at the senior level. Damon Edwards working hard on Logan Holmes. Yeah, welcome to the big league, son. As he just gets taken down after a couple huge bumps into the glass. Vigneault out of his own crease will send it up the floor. 10 minutes left for the Kodiaks to close this 6-goal gap. Drake Smith with it now. Big shoving match in front. Brody Burkhoff working over Rob Koger. Burkhoff and Koger still going at it. As here's Drake Smith. He's looking to put it 5-hole. And Burkhoff now into the face of Koger, and that's going to award possession to Oakville as the ball was down. Burkhoff gives a big chop to Latrell Harris. And no doubt the Oakville bench has had a word to their players about the play of number 4, who did not complete a game he played in last year for this Kodiak squad. Connor Fields to the far side, and it'll be touched up. And Burkhoff is going to get a slashing penalty. Fan in the crowd with a sign, "I would like a souvenir, please." Young man named Spencer being named the fan of the game. He's won himself a Boston Pizza gift card, the official post-game party of the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks. If you're in Cobourg for a game, sure to make time for the pre or post-game meal at Cobourg Boston Pizza. Matt Croak accepts the ball. Wagner was looking for the over and back, but nicely done there by the Kodiak forward to get it back out of the stick before going over the line. Holmes doing nice to recover so they could turn the shot clock off and see what they can do with the minute 20 left in Brody Burkhoff's penalty. Wagner staring down Drake Smith. That ball bouncing behind him, and he couldn't react in time, as now John St. John facing the double team, asking for help, and it arrives a bit late, as now Drake Smith will rush into the crease, but Croak was interfered with by Latrell Harris. Of course, the St. Catharines Athletic and Toronto Rock rookie at 18 out of the NLL draft. What a fantastic first season for him. Oh, what a catch there from Croak. What a goal! Matt Croak looking the complete opposite direction, puts on the brakes and fires it over his shoulder and beats Nick Rose, who wasn't ready for the shot. Short-handed, this one's a beauty. Here's Riley Campbell, the first one into the boards off the face-off. Going to roll up towards center as Damon Edwards stumbled out of the chute a little bit, ends up on his knees as the ball skips away. Now Desnew looking for it. Searle chasing Desnew. Again, as we said off the top, the RBC Cup champions, the Cobourg Cougars, played on this surface just 7 days ago, so the ice hasn't been up for very long. Cement floor, pretty slick, we've seen at times this evening. Nice air-conditioned facility, though. It's going to be a beautiful one to come and watch Major Series lacrosse all season long. Drake Smith on the floor for the penalized Brody Burkhoff as that penalty expires. Now 7 minutes left to play to try and close this 5-goal gap. Logan Holmes breaking ankles in the corner. Sending it back up top, and a change-up shot sent in by Goddard. He goes in hard on Barclay in the corner as James Barclay will lift it up over center. And Hickey pops out the front door. 10-5 Oakville. As we near last call here inside the Cobourg Community Center. Connor Fields, far side for Hickey. Pick set by Wesley Berg. Berg has it now. Kozak working off pressure. Berg down to the crease, and that skips off the top of the stick of Fields. And allows the Kodiaks to put it down the floor. Matt Croak, most recent goal scorer, and what a beauty it was. Fakes the over the back again when Ryan Wagner maintains pressure, though. Now sent up top, looking back for Croak again, and this one's going to skip out of the corner and into the stick of Nick Rose. Disnew spins, and he'll come up the floor. And another rip from Joe French. He's got the hat trick. That makes it 11-5. French, a pretty big shot from that side. With him and Hickey, the two righties, that could be a very dangerous duo should French stick it out here for the duration of this MSL season. And of course, on the left side, we know that Steph LeBlanc should return to this Oakville lineup. This ball's going to scoot away from everybody. Latrell Harris posturing up off the faceoff, still waiting for the first possession from the faceoff as it gets away from Damon Edwards. And now Drake Smith will pick up. Smith all the way up for Rennie. Rennie in the corner. As Smith has it, the selected in the NLL draft this offseason as well. And of course, we all know what big brother Dane can do. And cousin Billy D at the NLL level. Over the top, a couple stutter steps there for Todd Kozak as he sends it back for Fields to the far side. Hickey, Berg setting the pick as he clears Hutchinson out of the way. Hutchinson still giving Berg trouble, though, as Vigneault way out of position, and Connor Fields, ball bounces right back to him, and he's got an empty net to put it in. And now Oakville, I think, putting the icing, the whipped cream, and the cherry on top of this one. As it's now 12-5, under 5 minutes left to play here in period number 3. Connor Fields, the beneficiary of a bouncing ball that Vigneault was way out of position. And the empty net sitting there for Fields to get the second of the game, second of his major series career. Big tie up in behind as Drake Smith and Rob Koger go down. Meanwhile, ball squirts out of the stick of Matty Lee, and Vigneault sends it up to mid-floor for Laskowicz. Goddard and Smith skipping away from Dylan Goddard here. And going to find its way to Ryan Wagner, who goes in all alone. Rance Vigneault looking behind him, but where is the ball? He's got it, and Wagner will just put a stick in the crease to draw the violation. Here's Drake Smith. Rance Vigneault, one of 9 players to have their lacrosse cardboard card perforated in the game day program here tonight, along with Joey Capito, Pete Rennie, Riley Campbell, Matt Croak, Derek Searle, Chad Cummings. The first of what we've been told is going to be a season-long set. So 9 pretty much each game, and of course Cody the Kodiak, pardon me, making the 9th card. So there will be cards all season long in every program. You'll have a complete team set at the end of the year. Pretty cool. Up to Joe French. Closing in on the final 3 minutes here. The lead up to 7 as it's 12-5. Steady dose of Matthew Lee and Joe French as we're going to have a scrap. I think this is Burkhoff. He's finally found a dance partner. It's Bill Saxton. Saxton eats one. Burkhoff comes flying in, and it's going to be a takedown. And the whistle did go. Burkhoff with an extra toss right at the end, and Ecclestone and Ferguson coming in. That was a stare down and a scrap, as now Saxton is going to get help to his feet by Brody Burkhoff. Burkhoff sent to the room, as is Saxton, with 3:06 left to go. I imagine 5 each for fighting will be the call. Ferguson did point over his shoulders as if there was 5 and a game for each of them, but the 3:06 on the clock would kind of infer the game misconduct goes along with it. As they stared down and dropped gloves, sticks, and helmets. Brief jersey play there for Bill Saxton. I think that messed him up in that scrap, though. Back to live action, though, as this one bounces off a stick, and Vigneault makes the save quickly to the front door. Laskowicz popping out. Got Andy Campbell in front of him, and that's fired up the crowd, that scrap. Came a little bit late, maybe, for the team to do anything. Ball bouncing around in the feet of Nick Rose, as here comes Andrew Mullen. It's actually the 88 of Holden Garland, as opposed to the 18 of Mullen. Coming to pick that one up, here's Connor Fields. Fields to French, who shovels one in on net, as Vigneault does cover up, and there was 5 in a game for each of them, thanks to our PA announcer, Ron Messer. Cole McWilliams taking the shot, and it's off the body of Mitch DeSnew, who's going to pick it up and try and get away from John St. John, who chases him into the offensive zone. French on the far side. This will give St. John an opportunity to get off in favor of Pat McCrory. Up for Kozak, a lot of time to hone that one in, and Todd Kozak is going to get a hat trick in this game. He joins Joe French with 3 goals. French and Kozak with 3 apiece. Connor Fields with a pair. And there's a number of others, 5 to be exact, who have scored singles on this Oakville side. Wagner's lost his stick. I think the ball may be in it, as now his stick gets whacked all the way down the floor. Wagner picks it up and then goes straight after Derek Searle, who was looking for a loose ball. Campbell for Croak. See if they can get one more here. Nick Rose hasn't been tested that often in this game, but still making some pretty good saves. This one bounces all the way down. Latrell Harris checking the surroundings, and that one's off the arm of Vigneault, and we're in the final 60 seconds of period number 3. Reminder to check the YouTube channel, youtube.com/JVI Video Production is the YouTube channel. Subscribe there. You'll be notified when all our tape delay games will be posted. and on Twitter at JVI Video for announcements of our upcoming live scheduled games, both here in Major Series Lacrosse and in Junior A, as we continue through the summer season. Connor Fields angling close to the crease, ducking out of the way was Brandon Slade. He goes back for French. He's trying to rip one again. This one's going to skip up and into the crowd, as Cobourg should get last possession here with 24 seconds on the clock and a shot clock and on factor. Holmes, McWilliams, Drake Smith, far side for John St. John. Pick in front of him for Holmes. The shot comes in and Nick Rose the save. These early games, very important as you want to get teams before they get back to even strength. And the Cobourg Nissan Kodiaks, unfortunately, unable to do that this evening, as they're going to drop a 13-5 decision to the Oakville Rock, who will be back in action tomorrow night against the Peterborough Lakers. Again, be sure to check us out all summer long, whether it be Junior A or Major Series Lacrosse action. On behalf of our entire crew, I am Matthew Carrick for the JVI Sports Network. Our thanks to the OLA and MSL this season. We'll talk to you next time, folks.